What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is the Agree to Disagree, HUD Radio, Eagles postgame show. Oh, and we got a lot to dissect. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. Come talk with us.
What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Slap.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about?
Just kidding. Welcome in, everybody. This is Agree to Disagree, only on HUD Radio. Every Sunday, we are brought to you by our doc, make them yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, locations in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them around the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. As always, Brian Wilson, Greg Milakovic, Nick DelGozzo. I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, welcome in. Oh, man, do we got a lot to go over. We'll do our Crumb of the Week at the end of the show. Could be a few Eagles on that Crumb of the Week, right? I mean, hey, it might be eligible. I think a couple guys are eligible. We'll give you our players of the game, which is hard to give to you after a 33-13 ass whooping again in two times in 2 weeks. Here we are. But this is the Eagles Cowboys postgame show to Agree to Disagree. We're on here every Sunday, and we're going to get right into it with our poll question that is brought to you by Royal Billiard. Find all your game room and man cave needs at royalbilliard.com, premier game room store of the Delaware Valley, are located 515 Bethlehem Pike, Colmar, PA, or visit them on the web, royalbilliard.com. They got hot tubs, bars, bar stools. They got everything. Go check them out. Our poll, we'll get right into it because we got a lot to go over, right? It's not just this poll question. It's what is this football team anymore? There's a lot to go over. The putrid quarterback play that nobody's going to really talk about, right? We'll talk about it, and we'll get called out for it. But that hasn't been good enough, obviously, when you're not scoring any touchdowns, okay? And you're getting the party started. I'm going to get into this before we get into this, okay? 255. I'm going to keep saying it, that we hold standards around here. There's got to be standards, hell. And earlier tonight, I said, you want to win this football game, it's got to be on Jalen Hurts. He's got to outplay Dak Prescott. Well, guess what? He didn't again. And that's 2 times we played Dallas, and he didn't outplay Dak. He hasn't. Well, that's not good. You got to be able to outplay him or at least match him. You know what you're walking into. And on your first drive offensively, you sure as hell can't put the ball on the turf. You can't, because now you got the whole party started. And I love Jalen, but let's call it what it is. To win games like this, especially when teams got an extra 3 days getting ready for you, right? To win games like that, Niners, Cowboys, teams hungry for you. Both are hungrier to beat you than maybe you are to beat them, right? Okay, you gotta score touchdowns, and you gotta match, and you gotta know what you're walking into. And as a quarterback, you gotta be able to win games sometimes when things aren't going well. You gotta be able to go toe to toe with Dak Prescott, right? Throw for throw with him. And we're watching slants thrown 5 minutes late. You know what I mean? You can't have that. You're watching another quarterback that's 1, 2, 3 throw, right? And we're holding, we're not stepping up in the pocket. Like, there are things that are missing right there. Because if you want to win and come playoff time, you need him to be elite. This isn't the greatest roster of all time. He's got to be really good. And the last 2 weeks, he hasn't been. And we're not going to win football games against elite teams unless he plays up the standard. So it starts with him, and we'll get to everybody else because everybody's on the table tonight, right? It's almost like a Crumb of the Week. It's like a Crumb of the Week show. We should just call it Crumb of the Week after 2 ass whoopings in a row and having to talk about it. But that isn't our poll question. It wasn't about Jalen getting the party started. We're putting the damn ball on the turf, all right, which can't happen. It's the Eagles will win the remaining games and still win the NFC East. Do you agree or disagree? And I'm laughing because it's like we're still trying to be positive. Rightfully so. We're 10-3. Okay? Rightfully so. But if you heard me last week, I told you Wilson was here, right? Next week, we'll find out who we are. We'll find out who we are. So if I run around with my chest out like that and A.J. Brown says in an interview, you'll see you'll see. Yeah, we saw 33-13, and you put a ball on the turf too. So
we saw all right. I
know who we're playing. I also know it's the National Football League, and if you ain't ready to play, anybody can beat you. So I'm going to disagree. I disagree they're going to win the remaining games. How can I sit around here after these 2 weeks and agree to like a positivity poll? Now you're improved me wrong stage. We shifted now. You're 10-3. I get it. But you can't get outscored 75-33 in the last 2 games against contenders. And then make me want to, then we want to say, sit back and puff our chest like, oh, we're still a contender. Well, okay, you lose like that 1 week, fine. You lose like that 2 weeks. Houston, we got a problem here. All right, now if they go out and win 4 and things look like they're getting cleaned up, then sure, I believe they're a Super Bowl team. But right now, I can't come out around here and say they're a Super Bowl team. They changed stripes quick, right? They went from resilient up, find ways to win games. Back. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what I'm watching. I'm confused like everybody else out there. I'm confused. Look like a different football team in the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to disagree. They're not winning the remaining games and still win the NFC East. Maybe they win the NFC East anyway, but they're not winning the remaining games. So I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna agree, but to disagree. What do you say, guys? Family out there, I see y'all commenting in. Comments are flying as expected. We'll get to as many as we can. We love the comments, and part of this show tonight is reading off comments after we get through the poll. So go ahead, whoever wants to go.
Yeah, I think it's twofold. So I'll agree. I know that's where you were trying to decipher the two. I get it. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, if they get it done next week in Seattle, that's another tough game. Especially the 2 eggs they just laid. So I don't know if they get it done in Seattle, but Cowboys schedule is a gauntlet. So I don't see any way the Cowboys, who are playing good football, run the table. So I see the Cowboys slipping up. So I think the Eagles still win the division. But you talk about exposed, and really it's been there. It's probably been there all year. You know what I mean? We gave them the benefit of the doubt, really, because they're winning football games. We know how hard that is in the NFL, and people around here don't want to hear it. All right. They just, that's it. It's green glasses. It's green all the time, and it is about winning. So they were resilient. They were finding ways to win games. So it's not backpedaling. Right. But it is, they were masking things, by escaping, they were masking things. All right. They could easily be 7-6. This isn't a what if game. All right. But this probably is really legitimately maybe a 7-6 team. All right. Maybe not a 10-3 team. All right. And I know they are. So, everybody's going to be like, Jay, shut the hell up. All right, and that's fine, dude. Just, what I mean? But if you look at this team and you don't see the holes and you don't see the glaring weaknesses, I got news for you. I mean, then you're not looking at things the right way. No offensive touchdowns tonight. That's off. I mean, forget about the turnovers. I mean, in plus territory. So that's how monumental they were. But if you just look at it, they're just not good enough right now. So, you got 5 weeks to right the ship, and you want to be playing well. They're obviously going to make the playoffs. So that's when you want to be playing your best football. But right now, the theme all year was, and I'll pass it on to you guys. The theme all year was, we haven't played our best football yet. Maybe that's who you are. Maybe that's who the Eagles are. Maybe you have played your best games, and you found a way to win those games, though. Right? So
I'll go back to those days. I'll go back to early season, find a way to win days.
Yeah.
We're not playing our best football, but
not to find a way to win.
We'll win by inches.
Yeah, because right now we're not playing. We're definitely you can safely say not our best football, but maybe like Sleep said, maybe the football we were playing earlier was our best ball. And if we're not playing that, we're playing this type of ball.
And you can't be front runners in the sense where, I know it's petty, right? But this fan base crushed Brady when he left, right? When he didn't want to touch Foles. I know this is a regular season game. Jalen, right to the locker room. No handshakes. Come on, man. Come on. You got it. And listen, I'm not saying that I'm a competitor too. Like it's part of the game. I'm not saying I like it. You know what I mean? Like we're pros now. You don't have to do anything. But you can't have both ways. You can't crush one guy. And I'm not saying the game just ended. So maybe people will crush him. He jogged to the locker room. Dak's looking for him. No bueno. Come on, man.
I love it.
Come on. Can't have it.
Yeah,
Can't
I
have
love
it.
though.
Can't
I
have
love
it. That's fine. That's fine, buddy. Don't do it next week when you win. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
I don't. Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
front runner. That's fraudulent to me.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
fraudulent.
care. Nobody should do it, right?
Yeah,
Like, just,
that's what I'm saying.
I
I'm
just get out of
honestly,
that. I like when Brady
honestly,
used to just go.
I'm,
I was actually a fan of Brady just running
Yeah,
away.
me too.
You know what I mean? Like,
didn't
get
care
out of there. You're pissed off. You're
Yep.
pissed off. I don't want to shake nobody's goddamn hand. I'm actually glad that he's that man because I'm that man too, Jalen. I'm that man too. Fuck you, Dak. You're on fire. I don't like you at all. You're freaking lighting everything. I mean, he's dropping things in buckets. And I said, we're real here at A2D. That dude's on fire. That dude's playing at another level.
Oh,
So
I mean,
you
he's
better
the
come
MVP
with
right
your
now.
A game.
He's MVP.
You better come with your A game. And guess what? Dak got A game, and I don't know what we had. So I'm glad you're mad you ran in the locker room. Maybe you cry like Mahomes too. Go ahead, Wells, to the ball.
I tell you what,
I'll take a cry right now. You know
I'm
what I mean?
okay.
I can sleep.
I'm
over
okay
the
with
clock.
going to the locker room if you come out and play well next week. You lay another egg next week. Then I might have issues with you going to the locker room. I'm just saying. I mean, where are we right now? I like that's where are we? I don't know where we are. I'm not sure if we're very good at all. I don't know. So I probably disagree. We're probably not going to win our remaining games. I don't see how we win in Seattle next week.
Yeah,
That
I think
being
that's
said,
a fair thing to say.
I hope we win the NFC East.
Like I'll pick the Eagles next week, right? Because we should beat Seattle. Because you should beat them. Like we should beat them, right? But I'm not walking in that game with any bit of confidence.
That's House of Horrors for us too. I don't think we've ever played good in Seattle.
Oh, no,
ever.
No. It's rainy. Who
Ever.
wants to go to Seattle? Greg, and then we'll get to the super chats.
Oh yeah.
So you think they win it, Will? So you think they win the division?
I mean, they could. They could win the division because, like Sweep says, Dallas got a really tough schedule. You could lose to Seattle, win the last three, which are pretty cake games. New York,
twice, and Arizona.
New York, Arizona, New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so you would hope you win those three games. I mean, those teams aren't even trying to win games. So
and that might be why they have the tiebreaker, Wells, because Arizona beat Dallas. Because I'm trying to think, they would both be 5-1. It would both be 1-5-1 in the division. So I mean, how are the Eagles?
It would go to conference schedule.
So Arizona got them.
Yeah.
I'll agree.
That's the only thing that we thank them for.
Yeah. I'll agree to the poll and to touch on something Sweep said, and I think we're all in that agreement too. Is you're right. Like early on, we gave them passes for winning because you won, but these warts have been here all year, right? The inconsistency of playing with a rhythm on the offensive side, getting off the field on the defensive side, they've been there all year. It's just early on, we've been able to find ways to win, which exactly, and naturally should in the NFL, overshadowed what we've done recently. These two games have been horrendous. The way the Eagles talked this week was completely different from the way they played. Right? I mean, you thought I'm not saying you were confident coming into the game, but you thought you were going to see a better fight. Right? You thought you were going to see a better fight, whether they won, lost. Tommy, I think you mentioned in the group chat, right? To get blown out 2 weeks in a row is completely different from just losing 2 games in a row.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even if you get blown out last week.
Considered the 2 biggest games of the year.
Completely agree, yes. You get blown out last week, you better show fight this week. And they didn't, right? You know what I mean? They didn't fight at all. They laid down.
I'll give them that.
They laid down. Yeah, I'll give you that. But the
defense in
the first half,
fight.
They were a leaky faucet, right? You can't be any worse.
The defense scored our only touchdown in the second half, and they didn't let up a touchdown in the second half. So we'll say the defense showed fight. Besides that, you're 100% correct.
Yeah. So I'll agree, though, just because of the schedule that we're up against. I'm not super overconfident, though. I'm just banking on Seattle being not good. And then, obviously, those other 3 teams, and 2 of them are at home. So I'll agree to the poll, but it's not like I'm booking my tickets here, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not super confident in it. I just look at the schedule and hope that we're a semblance of what we were earlier in the year.
No, yeah. I mean, listen, I get it. You would hope it's going to come back, right? You would hope, what we watched earlier in the year is going to come back, but now you're playing lesser competition. That doesn't matter because we've beaten good teams, right? Like, it's not like we haven't beaten good teams.
Sure.
And I don't know if just after those 3 wins in a row, if there was just like a letdown, which you never want to see, right? Almost like a little.
Those were 3 big wins, though.
Like, we think our shit don't stay.
Yep, no doubt.
Okay, you get your ass kicked one week, but then they still walked around this week like their shit didn't stink, right? And I think we took that as like confidence as fans. Like, oh man, we should be confident. Look how confident they are. But in reality, they're just walking. They just think their shit don't stink as a group, right?
Thin line between confident and cocky.
Yeah, and I think they're just like an overconfidence. And listen, I don't know what it is. There's not one thing, right? I know my quarterback can't be 18 for 27 and 197 yards in a game where I know the other team is going to put up points. That's what I do know. That's the facts of it. And nobody likes the facts at times.
Can't turn the ball over 3 times.
No, and then that's the other side of it. Now let's get to the super chats. Kyle.
He's good.
Kyle says, do you realize the coaching staff is a liability? Well, Kyle, I appreciate the super chat. Either way, nobody's going anywhere right now, right? So, like, I'm Mr. Fire coordinators, all that. I think half of them are idiots, right? But at the end of the day, like, I'm not doing that at 10-3, right? Like, I can do that after the playoffs, right? That I'll segue that into a following year. I wouldn't do that now on either side, right? He says, if we lose in Seattle, jobs need to go.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. But I agree. I mean, we definitely got outcoached tonight, and the coordinators haven't been very good all year. Defensively has been way better. Offensively has been bad all year.
He said our record is misleading. The team has been bad all year. So
I wouldn't say we've been bad. I would say we haven't been great though. So the record could be slightly misleading because we have a great record.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like they don't. They just don't. I feel like they don't have an identity. Like they
agreed. Sweet. That's why
I just they don't have an identity. And I know with Tom, and I know Tommy harps on it, and he's not wrong, right? But I feel like, because with the 255, I understand what comes with it. But to me, I look at it like that is semi a crock of shit. Because if what you do is run the football, because this offensive line ain't going to last forever. If that's what you do, then do what you do best.
Yeah.
And I feel like
because that makes his life easier.
And I know they got the 2 guys out. They got the 2, the 2 studs outside, and they want to fling it around. I know it comes from up top. I get all that. You know what I mean? And I think that's why Doug is gone. Because the strings are getting pulled from up top, whether it's analytics, whether it's Howie. They had to get a yes guy in here. I know everybody loves him, and that's an unpopular take, right? But when you want a yes guy, you got to hire a young guy, right? So he stays in line and he does his thing, right? And there's no reason that you reach the pinnacle with Dougie. I'm not revisiting the past. I mean, there was no reason for that guy got you to the mountaintop, whether you liked him or not, Greg. All right. No reason for that dude that he shouldn't still be here. That guy should have never, ever had to pay for a meal in this city ever again.
Yeah. He's got the Jags playing well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, what I'll say with Jalen is like that was our identity last year. We played off the run, right? Like not only him running, but our ability to run the football, right? We played off the run last year. And that set up for the deep ball. That set up for the play action. That sets up for all that, right? You bring guys down the box to try to slow the run game down. Remember how good we ran the football last year? Like, I feel like people forget that. Like how elite we were running the football. And now this year, it's like all we want to do is fake RPO it and drop back and see how long we drop back for. And let's see how deep we can throw the football. Like, it doesn't seem like there's really plays being
or QB draw.
Yeah, or QB draw.
Or wide receiver screen.
It seems like Jalen's looking deep every play. It almost feels like he's looking deep every play. Like, get the ball out of your hand.
Dude, it's deep route, wide out screen, QB draw. That's literally that's 70% of our.
And then the slants tonight weren't on time. So it's just like there's no chemistry throughout.
It's rhythm, Tommy. It's rhythm. It's chemistry. It's all the same, right?
You can't. Sorry.
No, just you start early and you don't want to run, but it's getting rhythm, right? Get your offensive line to rhythm. Get your quarterback some easy throws early in a rhythm. That's what Dallas did so good early on in that game. Is every one of those early throws was real simple. Dak was in a rhythm, and then they got that offensive line moving downward with Pollard and Dwindle or whatever, right? But that's what they did so well is they got him in a rhythm. We can't get our offense in a rhythm to save our lives.
You
No,
know,
we don't
I
have a
mean,
rhythm. We have no
like,
rhythm.
yeah, he throws everything like he's backpedaling on everything.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And then, like we said, they're just after like 3 in a row, you come out, you get the ball in the second half, you have 3 really good runs, and I understand it's a completion, AJ, and he fumbles, right? He can't do that, but he's had 3 great runs. Like, just stay with it, man. Like, remember the Titans until somebody stops you, and then they're going to come up, like Tom said, they're going to start creeping in the box, right? 4 or 5, 6 good runs where you're gashing them, then they're going to sneak down a little bit, and then you can go over the top. I mean, I just.
Oh, Slayer. What up, D Slayer? He said,
No rhythm.
Here's the thing, boys. I can see us winning out. Although Seattle is no cakewalk. Yeah, we agree there. We'll win the East, but honestly, this is looking one and done for the Birds. And when we see San Francisco in the Bay, it's a wrap, boys. Yeah, the only thing I'll say to that is, like, through the negativity tonight, that would be such a long way away that, like, I can't. Teams are different every like 3 weeks in this league, right? Sometimes. So you don't know what you're getting. They're good, but you don't know what we're going to be playing at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? You go rattle 4 in a row off. I'm not scared to go anywhere. Right?
Yeah. You can get your swagger back. Absolutely. I don't think they're one and done because they'll finish, even if they finish in the 2 seed, they'll shellac the 7 seed. I mean, right now you're like, well, the Eagles couldn't shellac anybody, but that's shaping up to be like the Packers or the Rams, coming to Philly. So you'll be fine there. You'll be fine.
And optimist, over here, there's no guarantee that the 49ers beat the Ravens. Mm-hmm. So if Eagles if they win out, have a really good shot at taking the number 1 seed as well. I mean, the Niners have the Ravens and the Rams left, and that last game against the Rams could mean a lot to the Rams.
Yep.
Yeah, it probably will mean a lot to the Rams, judging just by how the playoffs are going here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pissed one
because
away.
The NFC South, the NFC South is like whoever wins the NFC South, basically, right?
Yeah.
Everyone else stinks.
Yeah.
Well, there's 3 teams that are 6 and 7.
Yeah, right. That's what I thought. Okay, so and the Packers are over 500.
Yeah,
and the Rams are over 500. So yeah, they're gonna be battling. I mean, hopefully that's the case.
What up, Murphy says, Tommy, they beat good teams. Yeah, they have, right? They beat 3 in a row. So, and Miami, which was another really good team. So it's not like they have it. And he says, they all the big ones have been scrappy wins. They had to chase. This defense has been pitiful. It's obvious, but they need to get up the field on 3rd down. No, I mean, that's the biggest thing in football, right? Which they really lack at defensively. Doesn't feel like we put any pressure on quarterbacks anymore. It's weird. Our 4-man definitely don't get home enough. So that's obvious. And, you're right. But again, like, I don't know who they are. I thought they were a scrappy, tough, resilient group. But you have this kind of outing after the outing you just had. It's hard. It's hard for me to, it's hard for me to be positive about what you did previously.
Like, they can get me back.
You lose this game by a field goal. It's a different conversation. It's the way you lost. It's not that you lost. It's how you this isn't a beauty contest.
Getting wiped again. Wiped
both weeks.
Yeah, and
not a beauty contest, but you can't get your ass kicked, and it'd be like obvious, like we're not going to get stops. You knew it. You were like, all right, here's another touchdown coming. We weren't going to get stops, and our offense isn't good enough.
Wasn't going to score.
We're good inside the 20s. We're good inside the 20s. That's what our offense is. We're moving up and down the field, and then we shoot ourselves in the foot in some fashion, or we just don't sustain drives because we get no rhythm, like we've talked about. Listen, this is ugly. This is ugly. And all the yelling and all the Nick and Jalen, look at his toughness. Look, he's just a winner, right? A lot of guys need to look in the mirror, right? A lot of guys up front defensively need to look in the mirror. A lot of everybody, because this isn't like, oh, you lost one because of one person. This is an entire group. And when we were talking about earlier on in the year was you were winning with different groups.
Yeah.
Now you're losing with everybody.
And plus, and to Murph, I hear you, buddy. Like all of those good wins, those good teams you're referring to, 4 out of 5 were at home. So if you count the Vikings, week 2 with Cousins, I'll give them that. Yeah, absolutely. When Kurt is slinging it and Jefferson's healthy, that's a good football team in week 2. So that's a good win. And then you got Miami, Buffalo, and the Cowboys all at home, and then you went to Arrowhead, which I'm not trying to take anything away. I think
Now everybody wins.
I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying, to a man, I think you guys would agree that the Chiefs stink, right? Or a little bit. I don't want to say
definitely not the Chiefs.
They're not
of the
good.
last couple years.
They're not elite. Okay, he was doing things with mirrors, and Spags is doing a good job. So I don't want to say stink because I don't want to diminish a win going in Arrowhead. I get it, right? So 4 of those 5 are at home, Murph. So I mean you don't get any less of a win for that. I'm just saying, they weren't going into those places, and they don't have 4 road wins, monster road wins like that.
Swift, what's he doing? He's cursing. Interesting.
I have to watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause it. Probably be gone.
Yeah, I mean, listen, guys. Devin says AJ has quit on this team. He shut it down. I mean, I don't know about it.
Yeah, I don't know about that. AJ's a diva. He just
That's who he is.
He just constantly displays diva behavior because he is a diva. But he's a good player. But he's a diva. It bothers me. It bothers the piss out of me, honestly.
Yeah.
No, I just should. Would
have loved to see I would have loved to see
the ball that hit you in the dick. Maybe catch it.
Yeah, I would have loved to see if that 5-week stretch of absolute monsterism, if there was a loss or 2 in there, just to see how he acted. I think it still would have been a lot of smiles. I think you'd have seen him smile and leaving the locker room. That's my opinion of him. I think a lot of it comes with the with the lack of production and he was 9 for 94 tonight, but all sloppy. I think 4 of them were on that last drive before this one.
PJ Wright says Sirianni's immaturity is part of the issue.
I don't say that too loud, PJ.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
you get roasted for it. Don't say that too loud.
Right? I mean, there's no like offensive design really. Like so many teams put players in motion and do all kinds of things to try to like mess up and confuse defenses. Like we can't be Stiller.
Missionary.
Yeah, I mean, we literally were all standing there like Jonathan Gannon. I mean, it's like Jonathan Gannon's defense on offense, right? That's what it is. Now, I say all that shit about Gannon. You would like to have him back at this point. You'll take last year's defense over this slot. But
to PJ's point, I said that to you guys earlier. Like, even though, like Will's alluded to, and I think everybody, it was a great call on the fake punt. But I knew it from Williamstown because I agree with you, PJ, because of the immaturity. He thinks he's playing Madden. So I was like, there's no way they're punting here. There's no way. He just can't look in the mirror and punt. He can't, he wasn't going to do it. And it just happened to be wide open. So,
which should have been a turning point in the game, right?
Yeah.
You go for that and you connect on that easy. You would think you come out and you score that, and we don't. Just summed up the entire game real early.
Well, we did get 3 there, but yeah, you hope you got to get 6.
7,
the thing is, we did not get 6 at all the whole game, so we scored a touchdown defensively.
Could have used it for the over. Could have used it for the over.
Well, Bill, he said if Hurts didn't have the ball ripped out early, we wouldn't be talking about him. Well,
he did.
Well, he did, and he was 18 for 27, 197 yards. Against the Cowboys defense that Geno Smith just carved up 10 days ago. Are we on the same planet here?
Yeah. I mean, I'm in agreement with you here, Tom. I don't know what Bill's talking about. Jalen did not have a good game. He's holding the ball too long. He's ditching the pocket too early. You can step up. You can step up into the pocket. You don't have to constantly bail. He's bailing too much. He's bailing too much.
No, you got the remote.
Buddies. The remote buddies.
The remote. He's like.
I talk with my hands sometimes. Get aggressive. But
no, but I mean, you're right. It's not a shot. It's a fact.
The fact is, he's been bailing, and I need him to step up in the pocket more. Stop throwing off your back foot. You don't have the good enough arm to throw off your back foot. Really, no one does. But stop throwing off your back foot. Step up in the pocket, make a throw. And throw on time, please.
Wilson, Tommy, you both brought up a good point, right?
Yeah.
We watch Seattle, we watch other teams carve up this defense,
Yeah.
and yet we look at the Eagles' offense, and we know it's a copycat league around the league, right? We know everybody does pretty much the same exact things, minus a few things. It boggles my mind week after week how we can't come out on offense and take advantage of what the other defenses can't do, but yet every team does it against ours.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm trying to say too. It isn't an all Jalen thing either.
No,
Right?
100%.
No,
This is creativity inside an offense.
Yeah,
I still think the offensive coordinator is terrible. Dog shit terrible.
Well, just look at it. Look at the design of the whole offense. Where's the
Same thing. We do the same shit over and over.
Where's the movement? Where's the pre-snap movement? To find out what teams are in. Like, don't you want to know if a team's in zone or man? Like, that makes my life a little easier as a quarterback to know what I'm looking at instead of guessing, right? Instead of guessing if they're in man or zone. So that stuff helps you out. And then what you do is you get your wide receivers matched up in situations and spots that help you out.
Mhm.
You line up in one spot, you make it easier for teams to adjust to you. Right? With 10 seconds left on a play clock, if you go in motion, right now they gotta change up what they're doing in a way. So it just creates defensive players to think. That's all it does. And if I can have a guy think for a second and not react, I gotta win. I gotta win at this level, right? So that's the thing I don't understand. Like, I'm not gonna go watch all 22 because I ain't got the patience for that bullshit, right? I ain't get paid enough to go watch all 22. I watch, you know what I watch? I watch live 22. Okay, I watch the game live. All right, and I remember and I watch. So at the end of the day, all right, you can look at things and say, man, we got to clean a lot up. And it does start with him, and it does start with creativity, and then it goes that it's all combined. They all work together, in a way. It's like a team effort to have good play calls and good play designs, right? It's not only having the design in-house, the call, it's also having the checks, right? It's also your checks in the line, if needed, to put yourselves in those plays that are going to help you as a football team. Okay, so
our scripted plays have been shit. We haven't started hot really all
they're
year.
even scripted. We assume they're scripted, but you're right, they're shit.
They're
Why would
shit.
you start a game like that?
We start slow every game. Last year, we used to start hot almost every game.
Yeah.
It's such a big difference.
Well, I mean, you lose an offensive coordinator who obviously is a smart guy, right? Because he's having success right away with a backup per se, right? So he obviously has a good sense on what he's trying to do to attack defensive teams, but then you replace it with a guy. It's his first time, right?
Yeah.
And that again shouldn't affect play design. That shouldn't affect design.
Is he just a figurehead, or where's it coming from? Because I want to ask you guys. This because my buddy mentioned it to me, and I don't know if he was drunk. Did Frank Reich mention something about the Eagles and analytics? That's where they're getting their stuff from. That's where they take their cues from.
Oh, yes. The Eagles do. Even without Frank, I know.
Okay.
I know Lloyd, really heavy analytic guy, obviously. And everything they do with in-house is, look at Sirianni. No disrespect, Nick, but you just smell like an analytical caddy, right? You smell like computer said this, right? But in terms of play design, that's coming from Nick. He said it's his. So, that's concerning because I think we thought he was smarter than that. If that play design's coming from him and all the things we talked about, right? Well, I don't know.
You're right. That's the Spider-Man meme where you take the mask off and he's pointing at him. It's him when both masked and he's pointing at himself. You know what I mean?
Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni, they're the same guy. But that's where it starts. So it starts with design. Like Kyle Shanahan's a perennial coaching loser. Right, and he always will be until he wins one. Until he wins one, he's a great play designer who got a job from Daddy. Right, and that's always what I'm going to say about him until he wins the whole damn thing. Okay.
100%.
So at the end of the day, you got to be like one of the best motivators of all time, or great like this game day guy, but you got to have something, right? And I would prefer starting with good design. Like, hey, we got a really good offense we're bringing in here. Like, do they run it missionary because the quarterback can't figure it out? Like, I don't know. I'm not throwing that out there. I'm asking questions. I'm asking you guys questions. Why does it look like some fucking high school nobody moves offense? Why? Somebody want to enlighten me?
Every game.
I know Nick talks about high school.
Every game.
Nick talks about high school all the goddamn time. Nick, it ain't high school. You talk a lot about high school. Is it because your quarterback's a high school quarterback? What is it? And if it is, then put the ball in the damn belly. Because it's smelling like you're trying to cover something. It's like all you can throw is a deep ball, or like Greg said, a QB draw. Like there's nothing in. Whenever we do crosses and stuff, it's our wide receivers run into somebody on purpose. They're the only team that can't get out of somebody's way. So then we get there's a penalty. So I
hear you. The scheme is good. Scheme goes a long way, man. It's all about misdirection. It's all getting guys to move the other way. Like you guys probably saw it, and if you didn't, go find it. Today, the Seahawks had one of the best plays I've ever seen.
That tight end down the middle
for a touchdoend.
Yeah,
fake the screen left, fake the screen right, tight end down the middle. Good.
Wide open.
The Cowboys, 49ers, who are awesome on defense. Nowhere to be found. You know what I mean? He had to beat one guy, and he scored. It was awesome.
Everybody's jumping around.
Awesome.
Everybody's on my skate. Everybody's on my skate.
And same thing. We saw it against us last week. I mean,
oh my God, my eyes are still crossed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Greg?
They couldn't scheme up enough ways to get Debo to football.
Yeah.
Right? Or Kittle the football, or McCaffrey the football out of the backfield. Like, you're right. I mean, that's what he does. You know, thank God he hasn't won yet, because then we'd have to crown him as a good coach.
Yeah.
Bill's had a really good one today, too, Sweeps.
Well, here's the arrogance.
Fake the wide receiver screen, hit James Cook, the running back, on like a go route.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
Real quick, Slayer. I agree with you, buddy. I mean, and I don't like kicking at all, but 4th and 9, it's not manageable. It's a 14-point game, right? It's still, I know it's the end of the third quarter, but you kick that with Elliott, it keeps it at 11, and they wind up kicking in
the momentum. It keeps the momentum.
You score. If you score, then it's a change. It's such a fucking lift for your team,
I'm right with you, Sweeps. It's not that. You can't go 4th and 9.
Yeah,
what do we do?
You hold them to a field goal, and then then it's a 2-score game when you're driving. When Smitty fumbles, not a 3-score game. Yeah,
especially with
and it's just we just got the touchdown defensively. We got to stop. Like it's a perfect time to kick the field goal there. I usually would say, down 14, you probably want to go for it, but we had we had momentum on our side. You get 4th and 9 stop, momentum's gone.
Yeah, 4th and inside 5. Yeah, go ahead.
4th and 3, sure.
Yeah,
and the other thing is, Sly, I appreciate the super chat, brother. He goes, but did you guys love the prior answer winning the toss? No, not because, and I'll say usually I do, right? But I'm all in the moment, right? In the moment, this is where the arrogance comes in my opinion, from whoever makes the decision. Like, you got defense that can't get off the field. That's been on the field for a long time, for a few weeks, right, guys? We talked about the number of snaps that they've been on the field. Well, you know what? I know they're going to be on the field again today, but let me go on a drive first. Let me be the one to make a statement, right? You put your defense on the field, they go down and get 7.
That's what I'm saying. It's just it goes back to the missionary thing, and not just with him. It's a copycat league, so everybody does it. Everybody defers. Everybody wants the ball at half. Know your team. You just got blown out. Take the ball and have an opening drive and see if you can make a statement in Dallas. Just like, to your point, Tommy. So, but no, everybody, I got to get ball at half. Bullshit, man. Bullshit.
I don't want ball at half when I'm down.
Yeah, there's a lot of times.
We're now 24-6.
Yeah, that 24-6. That was the ball at the half field. That 24-6, right?
Yeah, when I got my 15s, there's times when I win the toss, I take visitor. I want to hit first. I want to hit first. I want to score.
I do it all the time. I do
absolutely.
Bill Belichick.
Put you on the back burner for now.
You know what I mean? I always joke around.
Make you
my
come
Bill
from
Belichick.
behind.
I'm Bill Belichick, and I'm deferring. I'm going to hit first. You know what I mean? I do it every time because I'm like, screw it. People always look at me like, you want to hit first? I'm like, yeah, I would like to hit first. Thanks. You know what I mean? But no, time possession is huge. And like, again, when you're losing like this, it's not one side of the football, right? When you're getting your ass kicked, it's both sides. So when you don't sustain drives, you don't run the football enough, blah, 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 you obviously don't control any of the time possession. So if you were, if you told me, hey, Cowboys at 36 minutes, Eagles at 23, Eagles turned the ball over 3 times, Cowboys turned it over once, who wins? I say we get our ass kicked, right? And here we are.
Yeah.
So, listen, you want to chalk 1 week up to just being 1 week. 2 weeks is really concerning. We're going to continue our Eagles talk right after this quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue just going through what we watched. There's no, this is a tough 2 weeks here. Tough 2 weeks. Is the sky falling? I mean, I don't know how to feel. Right? We're gonna have a little confidence meter. We're gonna find out where everybody's at on the other side. Agree, disagree. HD Radio, Eagles Postgame Show. We'll be right back.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike.
In our family, food is our daily bond. My nonna, affectionately called Mama by many, found solace and joy in the kitchen, sharing her love through delicious creations. She turned her culinary passion into a flourishing business alongside her husband and sons in 1983. Celebrating 40 years is a testament to our exceptional team, friends, family, and beloved customers. With gratitude, we look forward to the future, expanding our brand to share the highest quality Italian food and wine nationwide. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has played a part in our story. Grazie mille.
Hats.com is the premier destination for quality and fashion-forward hats and more, with designs for every style and trend. Locally based and run by Philly sports team fanatics, Hats.com can help you elevate your hat John. Utilize the easy-to-use guides at Hats.com to find your perfect size and style, and shipping and returns are free. Hats.com. Find yourself in a hat. Use code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Agree, disagree. A2D Radio. Eagles post-game show. 2 extremely heartbreaking ass whoopings we've taken here. So how do you respond to it now? We had a whole week of response, so we can't even talk about it. We can't even talk about how you respond. This was the week to show us something. It's really strange that they didn't. Right? The strangest part, you think you got a team figured out, right? You think you're like, all right, I'm on. The best thing as a fan is when you know what you think you know what you have, right? Because you never know what you have as a fan, right? But when you think you know what you have, it makes it feel really good inside. And, we can all say up until the last 2 weeks, we were walking around with our chest out, rightfully so, because we thought we knew what we had.
Same thing
we
with
say,
the Phillies.
You know what? Yeah.
Not to go back and bring it back up, but up until game 2 when we left here, we thought we knew what this team was.
Yeah, we did.
Same thing with the Eagles.
Yeah, third and fourth down, 10 for 17. Like, you're just not going to win. You're not going to win a lot of games in this league with that, and it's the cauldron we always talk about, the time of possession cauldron, the turnover cauldron, the third down, efficiency, getting off the field, just putting all that stuff in a blender, what I mean? You don't win them. You're not going to win games in this league.
No, especially not against.
Did someone just say Shaq Leonard's going to ask for his release and sign with Dallas?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to happen. He probably wasn't on the field much because he's been here for fucking 5 days.
I was going to say,
I didn't fucking know what he's doing here.
I didn't hear his name once.
I mean,
I didn't hear his name.
He was on the field a few times.
Yeah, I didn't hear his name.
He was there a little bit. I saw him play a little bit.
Yeah,
He might also stink.
Could very well stink.
He might.
Which is why he was out there for so long.
I was going to say, yeah. I mean, I hope he doesn't stink because we could use a lot of help at a linebacking course. So we'll see. But he's definitely not. I don't know what that guy's
we haven't said that once or twice over the last 10 years.
Put the drugs down or pass them. Either one.
Yeah, Soham, we got our ass kicked last Sunday, and we came in today, and nothing changed.
Yep. Same shit. Ass kicked again. I mean, listen, I still think they can right now. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know where we stand. Like, I don't know. We don't have an identity. But they can win me back. They can get me pumped back up. Rattle off 4 in a row here. I'll be right back pumped up. Right now, I don't know how. I'm not sure that we can. I don't know that we can beat San Fran or Dallas. I don't know that we can right now. But give me 4 weeks of winning football, and I'll be back in. Right now,
now just think how crazy it is. Sorry, Tom, but not crazy what you're saying, but 14-3, and you wouldn't even feel that good. Can you imagine walking around 14-3, and in essence having a little dick? I mean, that's crazy to me. It's crazy.
I thought 12 going into the year. I thought 12 wins was good.
Yeah, or 13-4.
Now we're sitting here.
We're gonna bet
13, 14 wins, and we're like, that's a bad year.
No, I think we would forget a little bit about.
It's not a bad year.
Right?
No, Wilson, I understand what you're saying, though.
No, but I'm
forget about how confident.
I just don't.
I think my
it's
confidence.
crazy to say we could be 14-3, and I could be not very confident.
Yeah, but I think that's
asinine.
I think that's asinine because I think no matter how we feel now, if we ran the table, we wouldn't be thinking about these 2 losses. Like, we would be talking about the games we did win. We would mention these types of losses, right? But we'd also mention we're 14-3 and we beat some damn good teams this year too, right? So I don't think our confidence would be down like it is right now, right?
Oh no, I'm way higher than now.
Yeah,
way
it
higher
would
than
definitely
right now
shift
for sure.
It would absolutely shift.
I still would be like,
he had the same holes.
I don't know.
You found a way to win the next 4 weeks, but you still had the same holes. You still had you still had the same problems.
Yeah, I'm saying the same.
Just like you were winning. You were winning in weeks. The first half of the year, you're just winning those games. Which is awesome. That's the name. It's the name of the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for weeks we've been saying like the best thing about this team is that we're very resilient and we know we're going to battle and we're winners. That all kind of took a backseat last 2 weeks. So we got to bring that back. And I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, but I don't even have a good thing to say about this game at all. The only good thing I can say is that the defense at least showed me something out of half, coming out and playing more inspired football because they got walked through the last 2.5 games before that. And so that is at least encouraging. But yeah, terrible effort. Awful.
I also, it is. And I agree with Ethan too. I mean, when you lose Kaiser White, TJ Edwards.
I mean, Edwards, very good player, by the way. I saw
Gardner Johnson,
very good.
Gardner Johnson, Epps. Well, that's 4 starters and 4 big contributors to your defense, right? 2 of your leading tacklers and a guy who took the football away the most. So, I think when we talked this offseason, we needed 2 out of the 4 back. I think we all agreed on that. We didn't get any of them back, right? We went a different direction, and we went Bradberry Slay. Well, I wouldn't have went that direction. Right, I would have went Edwards, who's younger, right? Kaiser, who I think is a really good player. Now CJ, different conversation. Now he's hurt, but at the time,
last year.
At the time, I mean, I still probably would have paid him. I would have tried to keep Edwards and CJ because that's the middle of your defense, right? That's the middle. It's an important piece. But they went and they kept those 2 guys who I think I didn't realize that I had my internal mic on the whole time. I didn't have my regular mic on. That's fine. This whole time because I had to pull my computer. That doesn't matter to you guys. That's just a personal.
I was gonna say you sound fine though.
Yeah, you sound fine.
Personal thing. Yeah, just a personal thing. But
blondes and brunettes.
That's it. It's a personal preference. You know what I mean? Felt a little dirty there. Like I didn't shower because I didn't check that. But that being said, we talked about this in the offseason that it was a must to pick 2 out of 4 of those guys because you can't have that many holes, right? Well, we're seeing all those holes. Sidney Brown, I think, is a good player, but then you have to go out and get Byard. And when you're going in and getting guys halfway through the year, it's not easy. It's not easy when you get a guy in the offseason, and now he's got a whole offseason to figure out a playbook.
So then did that come down on the players, though? Because not just because you're a fan. I mean, but I think most people, and I guess in this area, were expecting 12 and 13 and use the word, this roster is loaded. Right, and we're very excited about the draft picks. Was that not to talk? I mean, listen, I'm not taking shots. I'm asking. I'm just revisiting questions. You know what I mean? So then it doesn't fall on the guys that they do have just didn't play up to either their potential or they secretly stink.
Well, I think the middle
with
of
the
the
secondary
defense
kind of fell off.
Well, I think
maybe a lot more than we thought they would.
Slay and Bradberry fell off.
Yeah, that
thought.
way worse than we expected.
And then I don't think this is what we took for granted, right? The biggest key of it all that didn't work out for us isn't our front, isn't it? It's the linebacker position where it was expected to be Nakobe Dean, right? And then you have Cunningham. Well, Nakobe hurt twice, right? Didn't look like he was great when he played, but definitely better than what we had out there for sure. But that hurt because one, we don't know what he is beside an injured guy all the time, right? So your best ability is availability. He's never available. So I think that part of it hurt Sweeps. And then I think when you go to the back end, and we're talking about the middle again, right? Then you go to the back end and you have Blankenship, he's okay, right? I'm fine with him. And then you have Byard, who now we like him, right? We like him, but I don't know. The whole middle is like just messed up, right? The whole middle is just messed up.
We haven't covered anyone in the middle of the field all season, so you're correct.
So I think it's all, but I do still think the roster is extremely talented, right? They definitely
it is very talented, more so on the lines and the offense.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And the lines haven't won a lot, which then
Recently,
exposes your warts.
Sure.
So then your warts really get exposed, right? So it's a combo, but these corners aren't good enough for Islands anymore. And I think that hurts what you're trying to do defensively too.
Well, we downplay how good our O-line is by not running the ball.
100%.
That doesn't help your defense either.
100%.
And this is what we look like. Greg, real quick, we crowned this defense last year, but in reality, they played with a lead all day.
Yeah,
I mean, they had a lead all day.
Yeah,
so I'm not saying
we had time of possession pretty much every
all
game.
day. Yep,
every game.
We were on the field like this.
Cowboys 74 plays today.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, it's wild.
I mean, that's gassers. You got to run 20 gassers a day just to be in shape for that. Man.
What was it? Second quarter, Tirico and Collingsworth are talking about how the defense looks gassed because of all the snaps the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah,
and they're absolutely right. And real quick to touch on, Sweeps here, the thought, the roster, because our defense up front isn't getting home as much as we thought, and our corners have dropped off. It exposes the question marks that I think we all had with that young back, right? Whether it was Edmonds and Blankenship to start, and now Byard, right? I think we all going into it thought our safeties was probably the weakest, but when you have 2 veteran cornerbacks who you don't anticipate dropping off that much, and you have that front 4 or front 8 that you love so much, you didn't expect them to get exposed so much.
Yeah.
But now they are.
Yeah, so the preseason excitement.
Darius played a little better today. Bradberry hasn't covered anybody all season.
That was a tough PI call early too, and that kind of set the tone.
Yeah, that I don't listen.
That kind of set the tone,
call.
and not to get all callies, but that's a tough call early on.
I mean, there was tough calls early, tough calls.
Yeah,
early.
I mean,
not why we lost.
Absolute hold that they
100%.
Well, you can't throw the flag on a hold. On
yeah,
a
it was
TD,
a hold. I mean, it was a hold.
And then pick it up. So there was some of that tonight. There was the first guy in NFL history to make 2 field goals over 59 plus. So I mean, you had that going on. Yeah, you had some of that going on tonight too.
Once the 60-yarder went through, you could just turned it off from there.
Yeah,
I mean, no, I know what you're saying. Absolutely.
Yeah, they had like 3 straight holdings on that drive. I'm like, oh, we want to keep them to a here.
The first one was egregious. The next 2, they did the right thing, but you have to ask yourself, why is the idiot even throwing it? Right? Because you shouldn't see flags being picked up. That to me, that was probably the most you've seen. I saw 3. You saw 3 tonight.
Yeah.
So the first one was egregious, awful. That's terrible. The next 2 legally were the right calls. I don't know why the guy threw it. You're allowed to rub the guy from the 1 yard. They're at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
That's totally legal. Yeah. At the goal line. And then when Ferguson's little catch, late in the third quarter, they were, I guess they thought somebody was downfield. So they're like, just watch what you're doing, dude. You're making life hard for yourself. You know what I mean? Like you're making people hate you. So
yeah. No, Bill, I agree. There's a lot of Cowboys clowns in here, but let them puff. You come and you stomp us like that.
I mean, we've been doing a lot of puffing. I'd be doing a lot of puffing if I was them.
But they need
I'm not there. Shit.
They haven't won anything in a long time, even in a playoff game. So
yeah, I mean, put a VHS tape in.
No, Ethan, and I agree. Our run defense hasn't been great either.
Feel good about themselves.
There's nothing's been good. Nothing's been good over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I mean that's So I think everybody was in agreement, preseason where these might be the two best fronts in football, at least in the top three. So that coupled with the offensive firepower, would translate into 11, 12, 13 win team. I mean, that's where the excitement was. You know what I mean? So I'm not I don't blaming anybody or calling anybody homers or taking shots. I mean, they are 10-3. You know what I mean? So they turned out to they have won games that maybe they shouldn't have won. You know what I mean? So that's part of being a good team and a good organization. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Eric. No, nobody ever on here said Cowboys weren't good. So
I picked Dallas to be in the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year, and I'm a diehard Eagles fan. So I thought Dallas was pretty good.
Must be his first time here.
Yeah, Jamar. Yeah, the must win. Absolutely. Because now, listen, you lose 2 in a row the way you've lost it. Not ideal, right? But you
can't start 10-1 and lose 3 straight.
Yeah, you can't lose 3 straight.
Can't do that.
I think we get in big time panic mode here, and rightfully so. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm already close. I'm very close to panic mode at the moment. I think we said it last week, Tommy. I think me, you, and Sweets both, or we all said it. Like this week, I expected fight. I expect them to be. I knew it was going to be tough to win in Dallas, right? But we're like, show up, play hard, play well. If it's a close game and you lose the close game, I can take that. Don't get wiped. And we got wiped again.
Yeah,
that's the problem. That's the issue where I'm at right now.
Yeah, and I think because of last week's bad taste in your mouth and how that ended, I think that's why a lot of people landed on picking them. I mean, and not that you shouldn't have faith in your team, right? But Dallas is a real good football team. They play tremendous at home, and it's tough to sweep a really good team. So to me, this was a no-brainer, but not an ass-kicking no-brainer. You know what I mean? So for the, and nothing is a no-brainer in sports. I'm just saying this was this was an L circled even before the season. You know what I mean? This is the split.
It's the split.
One at home, one there.
Just expect more fire.
Absolutely.
We didn't come out with any fire.
I didn't expect a dud tonight. I mean, I said I picked 34-31. I expected a little bit of offensive fireworks. And
because
one team did that and the other team didn't.
The only reason you thought that, like, okay, maybe you can change the course on the split is because of how you got embarrassed the week before. Right?
Exactly, Tom.
That's where you can say to yourself, like, okay, if I just lost to San Fran, it's one thing, but I got smoked in my own place. And then I got Dallas this week. This is a big one. So this magnifies this game and makes it more of a must-win type game. And it makes it, and you're playing uphill with all of it, right? You're playing when it's hard to sweep, and I don't have any excuses. Like, they're good. It's hard to sweep good teams.
I mean, they're very good. 15 straight at home now.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a, this is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, season's not over. Teams change a lot. Teams can change a lot in 2 to 4 weeks, right? So we know how this league goes. Yeah. We're going to be looked at as that. People are going to start questioning. Are they real?
True adversity for the first time in over a year, probably.
Yeah, a lot of it.
Let's see. Yeah. I mean, this is a big week right here. Big week of practice, big response week. You got to come out and you got to play well in Seattle. You have to. Absolutely have to.
Get an extra day. Maybe that helps. Who knows? Because now it's
I don't. Yeah, and Bill said that, right, Greg? So go ahead. I mean, Bill, thank you.
Oh, you would say it.
Yeah. So he said,
thank you, Bill. Appreciate it.
He said, Eagles look tired. Should they just rest their play? Well, they shouldn't rest their players. No.
Yeah, but don't do that. We got to try. I mean, we got to try to get Bill. The thing is, the key is we got to try to win the NFC East here. So if that's regardless, we're going to have to go 3-1 at least for a shot at that, I would say, because I don't see Dallas losing 2 games. I think they probably will lose 1.
You would think.
Yeah, I mean, they got a really tough schedule coming up. So you would think they would drop one of those games, but who knows?
You would hope they would.
No, because seeding wise, you like to always have you always like to have a home playoff game. But this year, the sky, and once again, we're talking about, we're talking about playing your best football. But this year, the sky wouldn't be falling if you did stay at the 5. Because the NFC South is a garbage can. You know what I mean? So you'd have to go to Tampa, Atlanta. I understand it's playoffs. I get it. Anything can happen. But if you had to go to Tampa, Atlanta, or New Orleans, you got your red rocket out. Now, maybe you don't, because maybe you just don't have any confidence anymore. And I'm not saying
No. I mean, listen, Sweeps, you're right about that. But then the next week, then you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ideally, you want to be 1 or 2. Yeah, ideally, you want to be 1 or 2. Absolutely. You know what I mean? You love a bye. Get healthy, all that good stuff, even though sometimes, rest, but in the NFL, the bye is always awesome. You know what I mean? Like, we're not talking about baseball where we just want to keep playing. The bye is pretty much, the bye is a must in the NFL. It's a must in the NFL. But if you get the 2 seed, then you got, you got the 7, and then, you got the 3-6 winner. You don't have to beat air quote Godzilla until the NFC Championship. Whoever that might be, Dallas or San Fran, because it's really a three horse race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And nobody's counting the Eagles now after the leaking oil big time after these 2 weeks. But if they're able to fix things the next 4 weeks, even though the opponents aren't comparable, I get that. But if they're able to fix some things and they're playing with confidence and they're showing the adjustments, then it's still there's still a 3-headed monster in the NFC.
I agree.
You see that the Lions are still a year or 2 away. Dan Campbell's doing great things. You don't go into Chicago and lose, when you're fighting for things. That just doesn't happen.
Not even in a game.
Doesn't happen, if you're a good football team. So, and I know they had some good wins this year, and I love Dan Campbell. I love everything he's doing. I'm just saying they're a year or 2 away. So it's a 3-horse race in the NFC. Right, the scariest team to me right now in the whole NFL is the Buffalo Bills. I need them out of the playoffs. They need to miss the playoffs. Right? They're dangerous. They're dangerous. I know they had a lot of bad losses, and he's a turnover machine. And he's talented. He's special. He's got players on defense, and they got weapons. And we know Sean McDermott's, his speeches are obviously weird, and he might be fired. He might be canceled soon. But they're a scary team if they get in.
I mean, they 100% are. Everyone talks about his turnovers, but they made I seen a stat this week. Like he scores so many touchdowns that I think Mahomes over the last 3 years, even though he has the most turnovers over the last 3 years, he still has the highest touchdown to interception ratio, more touchdowns than interceptions.
Yeah,
like the only one that's more is Mahomes.
We know it doesn't. It's obviously
so he turns over a lot, but he scores a lot.
Yeah, it didn't. And it equated to this year it equaled losses, which is a death sentence. You know what I mean? But I'd still take him any day of the week. He's so awesome, so talented. That play today to Murray down the sideline was unbelievable.
Oh, falling out of bounds?
Yeah, come on, dude. Fadeaway jumper, 4 Chiefs in your face. I mean, right in the bucket on 3rd down. Get out of here. Get out of
here. And the same guy can run in from the 8-yard line and carry half the team.
Yep.
Touchdown run. He had half the team on him.
Yeah.
He's extremely talented. Their biggest issue is what it's always been: is they can't run the football. They still can't.
And he can. They should be able to. They just, I think maybe with Dorsey gone, I don't know if the other guy, because Cook is really good.
Cook is solid. I like him.
If they commit to the run, I think that's the same thing where falls into the same boat like Tommy.
Always been a bull.
Like Tommy always, Tommy, like you said, it reverts back to the Hurts thing. You pay a guy a lot of money and you want him to be your playmaker. You know what I mean? So they know that they have a special talent in Josh Allen. But they can hand it off to this Cook kid, and he can do some things if they just let him,
Yeah, and that's been their issue for a while. Is just like committing enough to the run game, right? I mean, they've really avoided running the football there for a while. But it's the best thing for him because obviously it takes take some things off his plate. Obviously.
Absolutely.
So, but all right, boys, you guys want to get in the crumbs and get out of here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to lead us off. Whoever got the best crumb.
I'll go first. I'm going to quick rapid fire a couple of them just to not get into them. The Boston, Massachusetts, and or the surrounding areas over the Army-Navy game, and the housing of the players and their families, just there. And then my main that was the only one. The PGA for letting John Rahm go. Well done.
What happened with the Army-Navy thing, please?
I
love that game.
They canceled a lot of the.
Yeah, okay.
They canceled a lot of the hotel reservations for the families, and they had the kids sleeping on cots in an auditorium.
Should always be in Philly, so it's only been outside.
I don't want to get too far into it because I don't want to go down that.
It's only been outside.
It's
only been outside the Mid-Atlantic region twice.
Yeah,
so there's no reason for it to not be in Philadelphia or in this area. So,
but my main crumb.
I think the cadets sleeping on cots in the auditorium, that's standard procedure for them.
Yeah, they're tough as hell. Oh yeah, they're tough as hell.
Good.
That's standard training op.
Well, my biggest crumb is Austin Reeves, the little bitch boy, for complaining and bitching that Philadelphia did his daddy wrong. Well, no, your dad was brought here to get us out of the second round of the playoffs. 3 years in a row, he didn't do that. Did I say Austin Reeves?
Yeah,
sorry, Austin Rivers.
I like Austin.
Oh yeah, poor guy. Poor guy's catching strays. This poor guy.
I'm sorry. He's on the Lakers. I don't know. Who cares about them? But Austin Rivers. Thank you for trying to allude that the Sixers and Daryl Morey did his daddy wrong. Well, he did us wrong. He didn't win, which is what he was brought in here to do. So keep your crying to yourself. He was in full control over everything that happened here. So he's a grown man. He can take it.
That's a very good one.
Yeah.
And it's an absolutely good one because Austin Rivers, shut the fuck up. How's that sound? Okay. Glenn was not a very good coach here. And if your eyes were open, you would see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Well, she got one.
Yeah, I got just two quick ones real quick. Probably the NFL in general. He's our boy. He's a local guy, but there's no reason that Joe Flacco should be unemployed. And I'm not saying he had to be a starter. I understand he's getting long in the tooth. There's no reason that Joe Flacco shouldn't be. Maybe he didn't want to be holding the clipboard. I know he's got a lot of money and he doesn't need it, but there's no reason that he should have been unemployed. He can still sling it. I mean, and that's a hell of a signing for them with that defense. So, yeah, shame on the bunch of rest of these teams that have awful quarterback play. And he was home watching, his kids, play youth sports. That's just awful. And real quick, and Adam Silver, I like the in-season thing. I just don't like the antics. What are we giving out medals? What is this, the Olympics? Knock it off, you idiot. They're getting a ton of money, right? You incentivize them, right? You got the players to buy in. They're getting a shit ton of money. They don't need medals or whatever. Knock it the hell off, all right? And Anthony Davis should have been the MVP. Thank you.
100%.
Yeah.
Didn't even watch the game.
That was a monster.
The Flacco thing, that's funny because that's what he said. He said, I think I'm better than half the quarterbacks in the league. He said this past summer when I ran into him. I asked him if he's still going to play. He said, I still think I can. It was just an honest answer. I still think I can. I think I'm better than probably half the quarterbacks. And I laughed at him. I said, you're probably right. You know what I mean? Because you look around, there wasn't a lot of marquee backups floating around or even bottom end starters. When you look at even the bottom end of the last 12 starters around football, I mean, not ideal, but yeah, it's a good one for Cleveland because they got the defense. Good
veteran. That was really good. They had a good moment in the locker room after the game today. I'm happy for Joe. It's awesome. And he should see himself back in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. There's so many. There's so many crumbs this week. It's hard to count. I fucking hate the NBA in-season tournament. Terrible idea. Terrible. I hope it's burned to the ground and never happens again. Awful. We have to incentivize guys just to play a fucking regular season game. You're not paid enough already. Embarrassing. That's number one. Number two, Sean McDermott. Get a clue. I'd have fired him on the spot. Get a clue. Get a fucking clue. What are you doing? I'm not even going to bring up what he said, but get a clue, dude. What are you doing? The absolute last thing you should be referencing in terms of banding together. Last thing. Last.
Guess he felt like his back was really against the wall.
Yeah, what are you doing?
He's reaching. He was reaching for things. Imagine thinking that on the drive in. You know what? I got the perfect speed. Guys.
I got a good one. I
got one.
If
this doesn't go,
I was practicing this all night.
Banding together.
This was so good in the mirror. This one felt so good in the mirror.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, that's like saying I got a good summer camp for your kids, Neverland Ranch. Like nobody would ever say that ever. There's things you don't say. There's things you don't say.
Unreal. It's unreal. And then the last one is the NCAA, because something's got to happen. It's the Wild West. We've been harping on it, but the NIL and the fact that guys can just constantly. There's already guys. The college football season's not even over. Guys are already switching. They're already switching schools. What is happening? Dylan Gabriel's already going to Oregon.
You got to bring it back.
I can't deal with it. It's a mess. They got to do something about it. There's got to be. They got to make them sit a year again or something, like Greg said, because the NIL money's not going away. So that's going to be there. You got to make them sit a year. Guys are just going to wherever they get paid higher every year. They're just flipping. It's a fucking disgrace. I hate it.
Somebody asked Matt Rule about that. He goes, are you going to be in the transfer portal getting a quarterback? He goes, those top end quarterbacks cost you at least $1 million.
Oh, easy. Top end quarterback. You know they're going wherever they get paid. This isn't dumb. This is easy. It's easy.
That's not what the NIL was supposed to be for.
No.
It's so you didn't have to eat ramen noodles every night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a joke.
Yeah. Now they got Rolexes and Beamers, man. Come on.
Exactly. 25 million a year, might not go pro because he can make more in the NIL. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Mine's the Eagles. As we got through all night.
Seriously, I mean that one's there as well.
No point in going deeper.
Hey, put that in, Tom. Hey, tap that in. Tap that in for Birdie, would you?
Yeah, that putt's good.
It's just
pay that one up.
And you're a crumb because they. I feel like you lied to me too, right? You lied to me because I really expected more this week. Even if you lost, I just expected more. So it's embarrassing. It's an embarrassing week. We got to sit through it.
Yeah, we got to listen to Cowboy fans. Like, we got to say the Cowboys are good. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's never fun. But listen, you kicked our ass. Now, we beat you once too. So, all at the end of the day is we're even, when you look back on it. But no, next week's really important. Just to get back on the right foot again. Maybe we see some better things, better designs. I don't know, but we got a lot to figure out. And you hope the ship looks to maybe have some water, taking on a little bit of water, not a lot, but there's some water floating in, and we got to hope that we can get this water out and patch some of these holes up, and do it really fucking quick. Because if not, we could be talking about like some of the biggest collapses in sports history here.
100%.
You know what I mean? Because that, I don't want to go there after 2 weeks, but these 2 weeks sort of lead you there a little bit.
And that Band-Aid's and that cut's still bleeding from Game 6 and Game 7.
Yep. Gushing.
Which sport? Game 6 and 7 of the Sixers too.
You can add 5 in there as well.
Yeah, whatever one you want to add.
Keep
all
going.
Right, boys.
5, 6, 7.
Great show as always every Sunday. We're brought to you by our doc, make them yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy LLC, location in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Visit them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com.
Next Monday night, you want to share with the boys again, maybe? I mean, the Monday night game.
Yep, we will be.
Is it 2 Monday night games again? Next week, or are we the only one?
No, I think it's just you guys.
Why is there 2 Monday night games tomorrow?
I know. Same time, too.
Oh,
Jinxie cat.
Let's just go an hour apart.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. But yeah, next Monday night, we'll go on with the boys on Rivals and give you a post game there. So hopefully talking about a win, but we got a lot to dissect throughout the week as well. So hit the like, subscribe, follow. We love you all. We appreciate all the comments, super chats. We love you. So for Greg Milakovic, Brian Wilson, Nick DelGozzo, I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, have a great week. Try to keep your head up. We're still 10-3, but